Hey, it's another great day in Coto de Caza, Orange County, California. I'm right across from our driving range, and here we have two of our honeysuckle plants. All right, this one here with the orange flowers, this is called a Cape honeysuckle, Tecoma capensis. It comes from South Africa, but it's not a true honeysuckle. Like the white one here is a true honeysuckle. It's called Lonicera japonica, or Lonicera japonica. It comes from Asia, and this is one of the most recognizable flowering vines in the United States. And as a kid, remember, you always used to pull off the flower and then eat the nectar. It's pretty sweet. But behind that little batch on the hillside by our first tee box, we have a whole array of our Japanese honeysuckle. All right. Wow. It's not just kind of pretty when it flowers, but it's also great for erosion control. And there's lots of varieties of honeysuckle, or Japanese honeysuckle. Some are native, some are non-native. And ours here is called Hall's Prolific. Okay, or more specifically, Lonicera japonica halliana. And it's the least invasive of all of the Japanese honeysuckles, so it's preferred to use this plant in your garden or on these landscapes so they don't invade the other environment. So let's take a closer look at the flowers here. Now in California, in warmer climates, they bloom from spring all the way to fall. They're these long tubular flowers. They're bilobed, or what's called double-tongued. All right, you got two sides on there for each flower. You got the stamen and the anthers sticking up there. All right, they start out white, and as they age, they turn yellow, like this guy. And sometimes it's not unusual to have white and yellow on the same little plants here. Now it's super sweet smelling nectar, sort of like a mix of vanilla, malt, jasmine, and a woody touch of cedar. And the butterflies and the hummingbirds, they love this plant. They help pollinate it, and they'll produce little black fruits around fall. Then the birds, they'll eat the fruits and spread the seeds around. So on the tee box in the fairway of the first hole on our south golf course, we have a whole bunch of this Japanese honeysuckle, all lined up here. Now, not just for ornamental purposes, but also for erosion control. So in warmer climates, like here in Southern California, this is an evergreen plant, but in colder climates, it'll lose its leaves each year. And the vines, they grow up to 30 feet long, which also grow like a shrub or a bush, like we have here. Each one of these gets about 3 to 6 feet across or wide. It's great ground cover, like I said, terrific for erosion control. All right, so let's take a look at the leaves here. Okay, so the leaves, pulling off here. The leaves here, they're oval shaped. They're about 1 to 3 inches long. They're somewhat broad, okay? The backside is a little dull green, or glaucous. And the top is more of a shinier light green. They're opposite up the stem, so notice the stem here. They come in pairs. You have 2 here, a little more, 2 here, 2 here, so they're opposite up the stem. And mature leaves are smooth on the edges, but an immature leaf, if we find one, it might be a little more jagged or rugged. Okay? Now the stems, they'll start out a little reddish brown like we have here, and then in fall they'll turn a dark brown and the bark starts to peel off. In wintertime they look really bare though, almost like a real woody mess with scattered leaves. This guy's got some berries on him here. Take a look at that, little black berries. This is from last year, and apparently the birds didn't get to it yet. Okay, so can you eat this? Well, the nectar's pretty good. And the berries and the leaves are considered somewhat poisonous. But historically, the Chinese, they used to dry out the leaves and the flowers to make a tea, okay, to treat headaches and fevers and coughs. You could also make a little tincture out of this to apply to wounds or skin infections and inflammation. So finally, in folklore, in its plainest form, this Japanese honeysuckle is a symbol of pure happiness, conveys messages of sweetness and affection with its sweet-smelling flowers. In its heaviest interpretation, this plant represents the flames of love and the tenderness for love that has long been lost. From a practical standpoint, it's great for erosion control. It's kind of pretty, but you know, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder when you look at these guys. But it's really super invasive. It has to be well controlled. So if you have this at home, make sure you keep the vines in check. And in fall or winter, just hack these guys back real tight so these vines don't start penetrating out there and invading the rest of the environment. Wow. Look at this beautiful sea of Japanese honeysuckle. Lonicera japonica. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed that video of our little Japanese honeysuckle. Okay, and have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye.